The arrogance of both of them, these senior politicians on the left side of our politics, it beggars belief. And, people in glass houses shouldn't actually throw stones. And what they're doing is actually admitting that they are scared of reform. The more they talk about reform being a problem, the more reform will do better in the polls. And long may it continue. And, Nigel is going to be, in my opinion, a real good chance of becoming the next Prime Minister. And I hope he is.
Of course, the tone that the left want to use for the growing threat of Reform UK is one of a threat. And what I found absolutely fascinating over the weekend is that Harriet Harman, very senior figure within the Labour ranks, decided to ape the same language and the same rhetoric that had been used by Kamala Harris in the US over the course of the election campaign. So rather than actually saying, let's deal with Reform UK, let's see why they're becoming so popular, what do we have to do to change? Harriet Harman went on Sly News and described Nigel Farage as a threat to democracy. Watch.
They came second in 89 seats to Labour. How worried should the party be about the threat, or the challenge, I should say, from Farage?
Well, I think people should be very concerned about reform, because they're not just a threat to individual parties, but I actually think they're a threat to democracy, because they are offering easy answers to real problems, which are not a solution and will just increase people's distrust and disillusionment. But I think the shadow minister who you had on was really in denial about the situation. If you look at the council by-election results, and I'm afraid I look at them every Friday morning very anxiously after the Thursday council by-elections, what they show, I know, is that they show a real fall in Labour's support. If you look at the percentage change, it's not just about who's won, it's who's voting and what the percentage change is. And reform from a standing start is like gaining 40%, whereas the Labour's down, but the Tories are massively down as well. And I think that the main threat to reform currently from reform is to the Tory party. And what I didn't see is any acknowledgement, and we haven't seen this either from Kemi Badenoch, that reform is a problem. They're saying it's not a problem until they say, look, we're really up against it. They won't start dealing with it.
As Alex Armstrong posted on X, Harriet Harman has called reform a threat to democracy. How well has that rhetoric worked for the Democrats? Reminder that Labour tried to overturn Brexit, and Labour have lied to the public. If there's a threat to be had, it's the establishment. And Nigel Farage agreed, saying the Labour Party are now using the same threat to democracy line that the Democrats used about Trump. Look how that worked out for them. But you're not going to believe it. Andy Burnham, the mayor of Greater Manchester, then went on the British Bashing Corporation to try and blame Nigel Farage and Reform UK, a party that has never held government, a party that has never been in power, for the immigration issues that this country is suffering from today. Because guess what? It's all Brexit's fault.
This is the thing, and let me get to reform, because Susanna rightly raised it. Going forward from here in 2025, they need to be held to account for the consequences of their own policies.
Reform should.
The big lie of Brexit, in my view, needs to be exposed, because they promised us that it would control immigration. It's done the opposite. It's weakened control of immigration, because it's weakened those relationships with our neighbours that are absolutely critical to having an orderly system. But at the same time, it's changed the nature of migration. So they've been issuing more and more visas for people coming from further afield, staying permanently, whereas with free movement, it would have been somebody would come for a few years and then go back. So,
I mean, how utterly extraordinary, Howard Cox. So, okay, firstly, Reform UK is a threat to democracy somehow. God knows how. I mean, what? Nigel wants to make himself the dictator like the left-wing media claimed Trump wanted to. What a joke. But also, the immigration issue is now his fault too. They're desperate, aren't they?
Well, you're exactly right, and the arrogance of both of them, these senior politicians on the left side of our politics, it beggars belief. And people in glass houses shouldn't actually throw stones, and what they're doing is actually admitting that they are scared of reform. The more they talk about reform being a problem, the more reform will do better in the polls, and long may it continue. And Nigel is going to be, in my opinion, a real good chance of becoming the next prime minister, and I hope he is, because all of his policies are common sense. They're not easy solutions to difficult problems. They are real solutions to difficult problems that no one else has actually considered before. All of what we're saying is rhetoric from all of the other two parties, including the Tories. And what we should be seeing now is some consensus to recognise that these are common sense problems which people support. 4 million voted. We got 5 MPs. That's what we got. And that's growing by the day. There's 110,000 members to the party. It's growing by the day. And I'm proud to be part of Reform UK. I may have a few criticisms about some of the things we do in the party, but that's democracy.
Absolutely.
We are democratic. That's the way we work. So
absolutely, and the party is being democratized, which is something that Nigel insists. I mean, the thing for me is that, look, I'm a critical friend of Reform UK, but I'm very open about the fact that I voted for Reform UK at the last election because the uni party in this country has to be smashed. The approach to mass immigration has to be smashed. And I have been shocked and horrified by the new Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch, who just doesn't seem to get it, Howard. But first, with the holidays creeping up faster than your aunt's fruitcake recipe, I've got something way better to share with you. If you want to look sharp for all those festive gatherings and maybe finally win the best groomed at the Family Dinner Award, check out the latest masterpiece from Manscaped, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver. Trust me, it's like Rudolph for your face, guiding you to a smooth, irritation-free shave. I use it every day, and it is brilliant. So let's dive into the goods. The Chairman Pro is armed with not one, but 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads. Think of them as your grooming superheroes. The skin-safe 4-blade foil for when you want that baby bottom smooth, and the skin-safe stubble trimmer for when you want to keep some stubble but clean it up a bit. Both keep you looking sharp while minimising razor burn and irritation, because no one wants to show up to the holiday party looking like they've lost a fight with a Christmas tree, right? But wait, there is more. The Chairman Pro has Flex Adjust technology, which is basically like the holiday miracle of shaving. It's like Santa's elves made it just for you, because the blades and pivoting head adjust to every curve of your face and is gentle on the neck area as if they had the gift of foresight. So go ahead, kiss that awkward jawline patch goodbye. No more pretending it doesn't exist while you hope nobody notices under the mistletoe. And if you want even more precision, on the right side of the bracket, there's a precision lock. When you lock it, the blade head sits firm so you can achieve a more precise shave. And here's something that's going to make your grooming routine even easier. The Chairman Pro is waterproof, so you can use it right in the shower. And the waterproof feature doesn't just make shaving easier, it also simplifies cleanup too. Just a quick rinse under the sink and you're all set. The Chairman Pro isn't just for daily shaves either. It's powerful enough to tackle up to 5-day growth, making it perfect whether you're shaving every day or just tidying up after a few days. And with up to 75 minutes of runtime on a single charge, you'll have plenty of juice to go from Santa's beard to smooth as a snow angel. It even has a travel lock to help make sure it doesn't accidentally turn on in your bag, and an LED spotlight to help you see every detail, ensuring nothing gets missed. So get the Chairman Pro today and experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. It has everything you need to keep your face looking and feeling its best, all in one box. So head on over to manscaped.com and join the over 11 million men worldwide like me who trust Manscaped. If you use the coupon code Outspoken at checkout, guess what? You get 20% off your entire order and free shipping. So let me just repeat that, www.manscaped.com using the coupon code Outspoken. But now, back to the show. So she went on GB News yesterday, but nothing that she said made me think she has any idea about what her party inflicted upon us with lies. Watch this.
Well,
What I
that's the point.
said during the leadership contest, that a cap on its own is not enough, that numbers matter. So yes, a cap, but culture matters more. Who is coming into the country? How are we integrating them? How are we making sure that the people who come to this country care about it? This is not a hostel. It's not a dormitory. This is our home. And then making sure that the leadership follows through. So a cap is something that we can do. But what I don't do is just make random promises without explaining where it's all going to come from. So I said that a cap will be needed. But what was that cap going to be? Let's work out what we can sustain. We're going to need to have a very systemic review. How many homes should we be building? What makes sense? What is happening to our population? Where do we need skills? And make sure that migration is controlled. So we can do a lot on immigration if we're given the chance. But the first thing we need to do is earn trust. And that is why, no matter how tough it is, I will make sure that I hold the Prime Minister to account on immigration at PMQs. We are the opposition, and we've got a job to do, and I'm going to make sure that we do.
Well, I'm sorry, Howard Cox, that trust is gone. Because you had 14 years and you lied to us. Even the 2019 election manifesto was talking about cutting immigration. It never happened. So unless she is going to embrace the Robert Jenrick position of we are ashamed of what we did to the country and we will bring in serious policy change, which she has shown no bravery to do, I'm sorry, I'm done. I'm done with her.
Well, I feel a similar situation. As I said, I spoke to a very senior Tory MP recently in Portcullis House, and we chewed the cud on a number of issues. He's particularly talking about things I'm involved with, road users, strategies, etc. But I made the point, where is Kemi? What is she saying? You can't ask for trust when you've actually destroyed that trust after, you quite rightly say, after 14 years. And, things like small state, the state grew under them. We saw a corporation tax going up from 19 to 25%. Taxes went up. All these sorts of things. We were betrayed, particularly on immigration and on Brexit. Brexit hasn't really truly happened yet. And I'm afraid the only thing that my advice to Nigel Farage, from little old me here, sitting here running a campaign for FairFuel UK for 15 years, is he must unify people, behind him and motivate people and incentivize people with the policies that most people will get behind. And he has to communicate that well. There mustn't be any bickering. There mustn't be any infighting. It's got to be a message of hope, because none of the other two parties can give that.
No, absolutely agree with that. I completely agree with that. But I just don't feel like Kemi understands it at all. She doesn't understand where we're at. She doesn't understand what her party did. And as a result, unfortunately, she has lost trust. And I was prepared to give her a chance because I think all new leaders should be given a chance. But that interview was dire. In fact, at one point, she was even arguing, because we messed it up so badly, that means we're the people to fix it. Hell no. Hell no. What I just want to see is a bit stronger from Nigel. I want him to be talking about mass deportations like Trump is. I want him to be talking about demographic change like Trump is. But I think and hope that will come. Howard, I did just have to show you this though from Angela Rayner, because she's talking so much nonsense, right, that someone on the internet did have a little bit of fun.
So 500 million for the affordable homes programme. We've already allowed flexibility with that, so we get thousands more affordable homes on the market.
It's nowhere near enough for councils to build the number of affordable homes that the country needs, is it?
Well, we've made changes and put more funding in, and we also made sure that councils could keep their right to buy receipts in full so that they can increase their stock as well. So there's a number of measures we've taken which will mean we'll build the biggest amount of affordable and social housing for a generation. You can't put an exact figure on each site because it very much depends on the viability and the size of the site and what becomes available. But we're very clear that home ownership needs to be delivered for those that have just had that dream snatched away from them, and we're going to deliver that.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, Howard, 2.6 million are coming in, and where are they going to be housed? I mean, she is Princess Pinocchio. She's the new Princess Pinocchio. Move over Meghan Markle, right?
Well, whoever did that wonderful video is so clever. I mean, AI and all the other photoshopping, whatever they do these days, that was so real. It was incredible.
It was absolutely incredible. Loved that. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.